Daily Wire reports the president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, and Trump administration officials tore into CNN reporter Caitlin Collins after she asked if there are plans to return to the United States an illegal alien and suspected MS-13 gang member who was recently deported. The exchange came as Trump hosted Bukele in the Oval Office on Monday, with the two discussing immigration and the ongoing agreement between the two nations, which allows the United States to deport criminal illegal aliens to an El Salvadoran prison facility. Collins questioned President Donald Trump on the case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, an illegal alien and suspected MS-13 gang member who was deported to El Salvador and is now being held in the country's terrorism confinement center, a massive prison holding tens of thousands of cartel and gang members. And Caitlin Collins was asking about this. And in fact, this clip is pretty entertaining because Trump brings into the conversation, half of his cabinet. The whole Trump administration kind of gangs up to respond to this line of questioning from Caitlin Collins. And let's watch some of that.
He had been illegally in our country, and in 2019, two courts, an immigration court and an appellate immigration court, ruled that he was a member of MS-13 and he was illegally in our country.
So, as Pam mentioned, there's an illegal alien from El Salvador. So, with respect to you, he's a citizen of El Salvador. So, it's very arrogant even for American media to suggest that we would even tell El Salvador how to handle their own citizens as a starting point. As two immigration courts found that he was a member of MS-13. When President Trump declared MS-13 to be a foreign terrorist organization, that meant that he was no longer eligible under federal law, which I'm sure you know, you're very familiar with the INA, that he was no longer eligible for any form of immigration relief in the United States. So we had a deportation order that was valid, which meant that under our law, he's not even allowed to be present in the United States.
I don't understand what the confusion is. This individual is a citizen of El Salvador. He was illegally in the United States and was returned to his country. That's where you deport people, back to their country of origin. Except for Venezuela, that wasn't refusing to take people back, or places like that. I can tell you this, Mr. President. No, the foreign policy of the United States is conducted by the President of the United States, not by a court. And no court in the United States has a right to conduct the foreign policy of the United States. It's that simple.
So we've got Pam Bondi, Stephen Miller, Marco Rubio, all getting in on the action there. And they're right, of course, about everything they said. The main point here, as Rubio emphasized, is that this guy is a citizen of El Salvador, and he is now back in El Salvador. The idea that an illegal alien should be returned from his home country back into our country is absurd. He's not a citizen here. He's a citizen of the country he's now residing in. And so it's up to El Salvador what they do with him. It's not really our concern. They'll figure it out. He is an El Salvador citizen. I also appreciated this moment from Bukele talking about the just incredible turnaround in his country, that went from one of the most violent and dangerous countries in the world to one of the safest. And he has a line here that I really appreciated. Let's listen to it.
We're very happy, and we're very eager to help. We know that you have a crime problem, a terrorism problem that you need help with. And we're a small country, but if we can help, we will do it. And we actually turned the capital of the world, that was the journalists call it, right? Capital of the world into the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. And, sometimes they say that we imprisoned thousands. I like to say that we actually liberated millions. So,
It's very good. Who gave him that line? Do you think I can use that?
So they say we imprisoned thousands, but we actually liberated millions, is what he said, which is a great line, and it's true. Law and order is liberation. This is what all of the dimwit anarchists in our country get wrong. It's what they don't understand. They don't really understand anything, but they don't understand this, that law is freedom. You cannot have freedom without law, without order, without the enforcement of law. If you think of freedom as the absence of law, as the absence of accountability, as just the ability to do whatever you want, well, then many Central and South American countries today are very free by that, logic. There are a lot of countries in Africa that are free in that sense, in the sense that they are failed states with very little law and order, so that you can commit crimes without fear of being held responsible. Haiti. Haiti is the freest country on earth because there's basically no law. It's a failed state. But would anyone consider Haiti free? I mean, are the people of Haiti enjoying freedom? What about the people of Ethiopia or Somalia? Is that freedom? Well, no, it's not. That's oppression. That's misery. That's not freedom. And that's because the freedom is not actually the ability to just do whatever you want. As Pope John Paul II said, freedom is not the ability to do whatever you want. It's the ability to do what you ought. Now, freedom is the ability to do what you should be doing. It's the ability to live a good life. And if you do not have the ability to live a good life, then you do not have freedom. And nobody is living a good life in Haiti. Very few people were living good lives in El Salvador prior to the new regime taking effect. The law should enable and facilitate the good of its citizens. It should enable its citizens to live good lives, to do what they ought. That is freedom. And that's how you have freedom, not by absence of laws, but through the law. And El Salvador is a great example of that. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.